I have, as Cathy knows, I've spent a fair amount of time to try to understand the needs and the issues of the people in the DD community. This past weekend, I went up and met with a number of families up in the North Country to be able to interact with them and listen to their issues, concerns, their fears, and so forth. And I have to listen to them and take that to heart in terms of making sure that when we move forward, that we achieve the type of goals that we want to in terms of this particular program. And it really is, it's really all in that design piece of it that we need to do moving forward. But I do believe that this is the right move for us to do, but we do need to very much engage the families, the providers, the stakeholders, and others into the design of this. I do not, as Councilor Sununu said, it is not my intention to dismantle the system. Our whole focus is really around bringing a whole person orientation to everything that we do in the Medicaid program, which is a vital program for the state. So make sure that we look at the whole individual in order to be able to care for them in that way.
Cathy, I want to bring you back into this. What you hear comfort you at all? Because obviously, right off the bat, the concern that I heard from all the parents there was, you know what, we're not going to have that same family type, care unit that we had.
Well, first of all, I think both, Chris and Nick are honorable men, and I think their intentions are good. I think they're both profoundly wrong in this instance, but their assurances are nice, but we need something in writing. And until we see something in writing that says our locally controlled area agency systems that are nonprofit, governed by families, we're the decision makers. Until we see something that says that's not being taken from us and now decision making going to these companies who will see our family members as a commodity from whom to make a profit from, that's a very different goal than the area agency's goals. If you read their missions are around helping individuals live good lives and all those intangibles that entails, with family participation and with the Bureau of Developmental Services as willing partners. And it's been a bottom-up system since its design, and now we're going to change it to a top-down system. And anyone who's had an HMO knows you and your doctor can come to an agreement on a medical procedure you need, but they're the decision maker on whether or not you may have it. And right now it's the other way around. And we are going to lose our direct control because we're going to be going from decision makers to casual advisors, where our advice may or may not be incorporated. And that's a huge, huge, profound difference.
Is she wrong?
No, there will be changes. There's no doubt there will be changes. We're not going to...
Yeah, but you said, right before you voted for this, Councilor St. Hilaire said the same thing, I was there, that there's a lot of misinformation out there about this contract. And even... And I wasn't sure if it was you or Councilor St. Hilaire that suggested that maybe the parents and the advocates haven't been doing their homework on this.
The homework is immense. I would never ask a parent to do the homework we've had to do. That they have to spend 27 hours a day taking care of their loved ones and planning the next day. It's really some of the advocates and the agency managers that, again, we put this on the table so we could do our homework and they could do theirs. Even up until last week, there was still a lot of misinformation coming out. The idea that hundreds of jobs are being sent out of state, completely not true. The idea that the area agencies will be dismantled, not true. That family services will be, completely taken away, not true.
Well, what kind of guarantees do you have? I mean, when you look in a contract, when talk about long-term care, there's a couple of pages.
The guarantees are that we're all going to have a say in it. The guarantees are that if it doesn't, to be honest, if it doesn't go right, the council can pull the plug. We cannot approve these rates going forward. If we design stage 2 and there's still massive discontent across the table, nobody's happy with the way it's going to go, we can just not approve the rates next year and stage 2 won't happen. It would be a massive change to those contracts, but we have the accountability and the ability to do that if it goes wrong. And again, you want elected, I'm a big believer, having elected representatives in there at the forefront is vitally important because we're putting I've put everything on the line on this. Our entire reputation is on the line. Our word is on the line. I'm not saying we're the government, trust us. That's the last thing we should ever say. But I'm saying we're the government. We're going to be holding your hand in this process. And all we're asking the families and the advocates out there to do with us is to be part of that process. Don't be, the contracts are approved. We want to go forward. Let's make the best possible solution and design out of this that we can together.
I got to take a quick break. We'll talk more about that, the politics involved, and we'll throw out a couple of scenarios as well. We're staying with this conversation, obviously. We'll be right back with more on the managed care decision for the state and what it means. Stay with us. Welcome back to Close Up, everyone. We're talking about the biggest contract in state history, managed care, and what it means to Medicaid recipients. I want to get to the politics involved in this, Counselor. I want to go back to you. If this goes bad, and a lot of people believe your political star is kind of on the ascent, on the rise. If this goes bad, it could be over before it begins.
Sure, and I'm, again, one thing that the council has said, and we've talked to the managed care organizations, we've said if it is not a smooth transition, I will be the first up there to say I was wrong, and I will pull the plug. We won't approve the rates, and like I said, it would be a disaster for those contracts, but we'll do it because that's our responsibility to the people. Too often, I think, in politics and elected officials cast a vote, and then they say, okay, we're done with it, let's move on to the next thing. This is just too big, too vitally important. You're talking about $2.3 billion, 140,000 people affected. If, as an elected official, I'm going to cast a vote, people expect me to walk down that process with them, especially with this, where the process is still undesigned and unplanned. We have to be, as elected officials, have to be a big part of that going forward to give people the confidence that their voices will be heard, have been heard, and will continue to be heard as we go forward.